Welcome back to another episode of the Unfair Advantage podcast powered by Fast. I'm your host, Coach Frisbee, here with my man, Coach Smith. And tonight we got another episode, man, an amazing episode in store for you guys.
Yeah, man, this is a special episode. We know this is one of the most misunderstood things in sports, so I'm excited.
Man. Yeah, we got two amazing doctors in the house, guys. I'm taking it personal because they are here at Fast. They're from Re-Envision Therapy. We have Dr. Alan Horback first. I'm going to talk a little bit about Dr. Alan. Dr. Allen is a physical therapy board-certified orthopedic clinical specialist with over 5 years of experience specializing in return to sport programming and sports rehabilitation. A former Division II swimmer at the University of Indianapolis and a broad-run high school standout, he earned his Doctor of Physical Therapy from MCPHS, and we'll have that for you at the end. University, his personal athletic background shapes his approach to helping athletes recover and return to peak performance. Then we have Dr. Lexi Evelyn. She is a board-certified physical therapist. She played 4 years of collegiate softball at Eastern University and went on to earn her doctorate of physical therapy from Shenandoah University. Having experienced return to sport following injury several times, Lexi has an in-depth understanding and appreciation of the rehabilitation process as an athlete and a healthcare professional. She specializes in overhead athletes, knee injuries, and preventative care to help athletes get healthy and stay healthy. Alan and Lexi, man, welcome to the show. Like I said, you guys are really important what we do here at Fast. You're a major part of what we do. I appreciate you guys coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
You like that introduction? Huh?
Yeah,
That was good. It rolled.
It did, really, man. It did. I'm really ready to get into it. I think you guys make a big impact on, everyone's everyday lives. So,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
excited to hear.
But before we get started on all that science and all that talk, all right, for all of our listeners and viewers out there, I'm going to ask you guys, we're going to just do a little icebreaker, okay? So really quick, and it can be a short answer. But if you was not a physical therapist, what other profession you think you would be? Lexi, go first.
I think I would like to do something with sports still. So I think I would probably lean more towards a coach. Probably more in softball, something with pitching, because that's what I did.
Okay.
I did ask patients this throughout the day. I was like, if I wasn't a physical therapist, what would I be?
That's awesome.
I got some interesting answers. One guy said a stand-up comedian, and I took that as a big compliment because I was like, all right, yeah.
You're very witty. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that.
Someone said like a small-town tour guide on like the golf cart thing,
man.
and I was like, okay. He was like, yeah, you like to talk, and I was
got
like,
some-
that's fair.
Man, yeah, she got some options today.
Yeah, so I have options.
That's awesome.
Alan?
Yeah. Honestly, if I could do anything, I'd just go back outside. I used to be a camp counselor back in the day, and it was the best job I've ever had. Outside of like my current one.
Look at my man.
Yeah,
Dr.
going hiking,
Allen.
doing like rock climbing trips.
Outdoors,
the
man.
dream.
Okay.
I could see that. Yeah.
What'd you do first?
If I wasn't doing this?
Yeah.
Man. That's hard. Maybe football coach. So
I can
still
see that.
coaching, but
Yeah,
just,
it's-
like say coaching at a school. But
I feel like that's cheating, man. You see,
All right.
you're a coach already. That's
All right. Let me be a bartender.
I can see
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah.
Wasn't
I
there a
could-
rumor that Fast was supposed to do like a nightclub?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm very social.
That's true.
What we was going to do, like work out at night.
Man, I think honestly I would be like
Yeah,
an
let me hear this.
artist, a rapper, or I can't sing, but I like to make music. That's my thing.
Well, I'm glad we all doing what we supposed to be doing, actually.
Frizz is really the rapper, man.
Yeah.
He really
yeah.
likes to rap.
I like to rap, but that's not a profession. That's just a hobby.
Yeah, he serenades me
I can
daily.
get there.
Yeah.
I mean, you just show up in the morning class, you can see it.
Don't do that.
They dancing too, right?
Yeah.
You can see the dance.
Oh, it's great moves.
It's got to be entertaining.
Right.
It's got to be entertaining. No, thank you guys for opening up with that. Get us a little calm. Let's dive into it. So our first topic, man, is pretty simple. For a lot of people out there, their perception of what physical therapy is, it may think it's just ice shin and just some rubber bands and things like that. Break it down for our listeners. Like, what's your real job as physical therapist, and what's a day look like for you inside here at Fast? Alan, you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. So it varies. I mean, I think the beauty in physical therapy is it's just broad, right? We can handle almost any complex case that walks through the door, multiple body parts, multiple injuries. You have somebody that's complex, that's longer term, right? They may have been dealing with injuries for, greater than 6 to 9 months into like multiple years. Or we get somebody that's got the light and sprains and strains. Just, I think I tweaked something on the field. Let's get back out 2 weeks later and they're back everything.
Wow.
But
It's pretty quick.
No,
Lexi?
yeah, that is, Lexi.
Yeah, I like physical therapy because of what Alan said. It's so different, and everyone is so different. They respond to physical therapy, and I agree. Sometimes we have the misconception of what PT is. So there's a lot of education that goes into that too, especially for athletes who are they're nervous when they come in. They're not feeling good. Yeah, so a lot of that as well.
Yeah, that's so. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was
bro.
going to say, just me being just getting out of being an athlete, I think that's a big thing. You guys don't just fix the pain, you fix like their patterns. So where
real.
they get back onto the field, they'll be prepared, and they'll be like preventative measures to, be able to help them out and protect them while they're on the field. So I think that's a major portion.
Yeah, and that's why I'm really, very complimentary because having you guys here, like I said, having that rehabilitation and then trying to enhance their performance, that's what really makes this partnership really go well. And we have really happy athletes. So appreciate you guys once again for that and what you do and bring to the table in your profession. But Savon, did you want to ask them about what their perspective is?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, being former athletes, like, how do you guys incorporate that into your, your physical therapy and the way you go about, your daily lives?
Yeah, I think it's that we understand where they're coming from.
Right.
I've returned from injury several times. Some of them big. Some was one was post-surgical. I kept dislocating my kneecap.
Wow.
So my recovery was 9 months. So I can really relate to all the ACLs, the longer recoveries, the learning how to walk again, being on crutches for 6 weeks. I remember how that feels, so I can relate to those people a lot. But I think if you can come from a place of understanding, and then let them know that too, be like, I've been here, and this is where I am now. I think it helps to kind of see a success story too, and know that they're going to be okay, and then they're in good hands.
Yeah.
Can I interject there real quick? So you said you had the same surgery multiple times.
So I dislocated my kneecap several times, and I had surgery once. Thank God.
Was your return? Oh, okay. I was going to say because your return time the same all the time, but you only
Yeah.
had surgery once. Okay.
Only once. After each dislocation, the return time was several months after each one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. No, it's very similar. I mean, I think one of the things, especially working in sports PT, is PTs that have done sports are kind of drawn to it because I think a lot of it is relating to those athletes and understanding what you've been through. For me, I luckily didn't have any surgeries, but I had bilateral shoulder problems for years. I mean, I went from being my fastest when I was a freshman in high school to getting injured, and then every single stroke just hurt. And I went through months of just trying to push through the pain. And it took a lot. I mean, I was in PT for 6 months because I pushed it off for so long
Wow.
that I kind of knew how long it was going to take to get to the next level. And it took me maybe 3 years to go a faster time than that freshman year just because of how long I was dealing with the shoulder pain too. So I get to kind of know how stubborn athletes get too.
Definitely.
And understanding kind of what connection you need to make to get that next drive out of them.
All right, so you guys also work with the general public, the non-athletes. Is there a difference in that, the way you go about it, or I want to hear a little bit about that for sure.
Yeah, I think so I always say you learn a lot working with athletes, but you learn more working with non-athletes because athletes are typical. They want to do their sport. They want to be on the back on the field. If you have somebody else who's never been injured, never been hurt before, doesn't know what a rehab process looks like, when something happens, been oh, we'll just fix it and let me do my life. It's not that easy, right? So what entry points can we find for them who might have that push back from kind of longer rehab or a little bit more advanced stuff to get them to their next phase that they want to do?
All right, that makes sense for sure.
Yeah, I think, and Alan's right. For athletes, you kind of know what their end goal is, right? They want to get back on the field, they want to get back on the court, and they want to play. Right. For general populations, you have to find their end goal, and sometimes it's not as clear. If you want someone with chronic pain, what does that look like for them? What does improvement look like for them? And it might be that they can put the dishes away from the dishwasher for the first time. It's a lot. There's smaller things than getting an athlete back on the field, but those things are people's lives.
Right, it's-
That you're getting them back to.
It seems more like the smaller victories are, very important, honestly. So now you both were former athletes. Is there anything that you know now, being doctors and doing it all the time that you would do and back then, as being an athlete, you would change?
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I mean, I think we both have stories for this one, but from my perspective, it's easier to take a short break in the beginning than a longer break later. So if you have something you need to do, take that small step back, get it fixed, get it worked out, and go back even harder the next time. Because if you let it go too long, then it's even tougher.
Yeah, I think that's important for our viewers because a lot of athletes, you want to rush it, get back on the field, but then it could also just set you back, even further. So,
Yeah. I think because I had surgery, if I could look back and tell myself something, I would say that your life changes. You are an athlete one day, and the next you're on crutches. You can't put weight on it.
That's tough.
So I think your identity changes too, because you see yourself as an athlete, everyone else sees you as an athlete, and all of a sudden, like, you still have the athlete mindset, you still have that competitive drive, but you can't act on it anymore.
right.
And you have to kind of funnel that into rehab. And that's a change in mindset, a big one. And I don't think we prepare athletes for that before their surgery enough. So if I have anyone that's going into a surgery and I get to see them before, I really try to emphasize that and like prepare them for the process and what it's going to look like. Because if you're not prepared, it's just a game changer.
Yeah, I think that's big. For me, I had broke my fifth metatarsal 3 times, had surgery twice, and I feel like if I would have known that going into the first time, the way I came back would have been completely different. I try to rush it back, get back. I think it was like 5 to 6 months, and I'm warming up. They're like, "How you feeling?" It's hurting, but as an athlete, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, I'm good." Just for it to happen again, I would definitely change that as well. So.
That's real, man. That's some golden stuff because you don't realize your body's an investment until the bills do.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, man. That's just, and then, like you said, a lot of the mental stuff you got to overcome. It's hard. So that's just going to take us into our next topic at female athletes and common injuries. Dr. Lexi, I'm gonna come at you. So you work with a ton of female athletes. What are some of the most common injuries you see, and what usually causes them?
Yeah. I do love working with female athletes. I think it's just nice to be able to relate to them. I can relate to male athletes too. We all have that competitive drive and that desire to do better and push yourself.
Right.
But females are statistically more likely to have knee injuries, which I love to treat, and I think that's because I had one, specifically ACL. And, research says a couple things about it. There's the female athlete triad, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with, but 3 things. So a low energy intake, whether it's normally about calories. Often, not always, it's because of restricted eating for
Okay.
females
Okay.
that want to fit a certain body type. Any like menstrual dysfunction, and then a low bone density, which puts them at risk for injuries, ligamentous injuries, and stress fractures.
Wow.
There's also some more research coming out about REDS, which just says the same thing, that those put people at risk for injuries, but it also affects them systematically. So GI, cardiovascular, immune, mental. So I think female athletes specifically have those things already kind of working against them. So we need to understand that and then actively take measures to address them.
Yeah, that's important, honestly. Because I don't think, even many female athletes
understand
kinda understand
that.
that, so I think that's a gem right there, man.
Wow.
For
So
sure.
because that's a lot of different factors. So for them to kind of pay attention to,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Big thing is going to be, and this is a whole other topic too, but making sure that you're getting enough nutrition. So prioritizing protein, iron, calcium, vitamin D, those things that we tend to be kind of short on, especially if you're restricting eating to fit into a certain body type, like with aesthetic sports like cheerleading or gymnastics. I feel like we see that a lot in too.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to get into that just because people, underestimate the injuries that can happen in non-contact sports, volleyball, swimming, cheer. I don't know. I feel like, could you just touch base on that, where the injuries that can happen in that as well?
And now
Yeah.
you can expound afterwards too, because
Yeah,
it ain't just
absolutely.
female related. But I want to hear your side first from a female perspective. But I know Dr. Allen works with females as well. But yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt that. Go ahead.
ACL injuries actually happen more with non-contact. Any like cutting, pivoting, quick change of direction, that kind of stuff, we actually very rarely see them with contact. So I think for those individuals, the ones that do a lot of that, and you see that in a lot of sports, but you have to prepare your body to do that through, strength training, agility training, being prepared to do those to decrease risk of injury. Because if you're not prepared going in, you're just putting yourself at risk.
Does your structure of your body play a role in that?
Yeah, it can.
Okay.
There's different research for different things, but the female, like they say, like, oh, like their hip angle, their Q angle with their knees, that kind of stuff. For overhead athletes, sometimes they say like, oh, athletes or female athletes aren't as strong in the upper body, so it puts them at risk for shoulder injuries. So there's some research on that to support that as well.
It's good. Dr. Allen?
I mean, that's hard to follow up. No, it is, and that's true. I mean, a lot of our injuries mostly happen with non-contact. And, I mean, if you even dig deeper into those numbers, most of those injuries also happen at a practice level rather than a sport and kind of like a competition. So I think football is huge because game time, that's when most injuries kind of occur for the more contact injuries. But for the other sports, it's the, how much do you practice? What are your contact hours there? Like, what else is going on in the field? And I think that's kind of something we miss is the total number of volume that's going for a lot of these athletes. So if they're getting into these positions where something else could be going wrong, right? How do we prep the body for that continuous time underneath that load to get actually, stimulus to that part that needs it? So when it's like game time, it's not going to just fall, or there's potentially not an injury to occur.
Right, and I think we see that a lot now at the, especially the NFL with like Malik Neighbors. It was not a hit; it was him jumping up to go get the ball. It's things like that, or just I forget the running back's name, but he just made a cut and his ACL, gave out on him. So I definitely think that's important. I think I saw a stat. There's like 70% of ACL injuries are non-contact or something like that, and that's just surprising. Just because you would think most of the time it's either getting hit or a lower leg hit from the ankle or something like that and bending the opposite way. But I think that's important to know that it can happen, without contact.
So it sounds like a lot of that's like fatigue, overtraining. Let's touch base on that a little bit. I'm just going to reroute a little bit regarding like travel sports. Do you see that's common from just overusage, or is it a collective thing of overusage with poor mechanics?
I think it's probably a combination. Yeah. But, especially if we're talking about travel sports, these are sports that probably have almost their own independent seasons. Like you can have multiple kind of leagues tying into each other, and you can play a travel sport all year round. So if you don't have a break, especially for swimming, we're a year-round sport, like we're just going to get into that same position day in, day out. And if something doesn't change, then our body's going to find that weak link somewhere.
That's good advice. Because we have a lot of young kids out here that want to be seen. They want that exposure. They want that competitive competition. So they're playing travel sports to get exposed to that. But in the midst of that, they're still trying to bridge the gap of that athleticism, of the competition all over the country. And they're working harder and harder and harder. And the misunderstanding is the adequate rest, the proper protocols of rest and recovery that you guys probably see that people don't practice. And that's why you see them a lot, that's come through as a patient.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And I do think, I feel like nowadays kids are, they got summer football workouts, go into the season all fall, start basketball, wrestling, and then go right to track in the spring, right back to football. So it is important, how you guys touch on, getting that break, the rest, even just like during the season. I got some guys who want to train with me, and their only off day, they want to, do a workout, and I'm like, you're practicing every day during the week. You have a game on Friday. You have practice where you condition and watch film on Saturday, and then Sunday they want that extra work. And sometimes it's like, how much did you play that game? It's like let's figure that out that way. But I think that is important.
It is very important, and it needs to be paid attention to a little bit more regarding just usage. Trying to get better at something. So definitely hope our viewers definitely take that. All right, we're going to transition now into the hardest rehab and mental battle. As we know, we both came over some injuries. Mental part was a part of it, just not the physical side. What's the toughest rehab process you've seen, mentally or physically, or you experienced, whether it's ACL, Achilles, or shoulder? What is it?
The toughest one I've seen. Well, I'd probably have to say the toughest one that you're ever going to go through is your
Makes
own.
sense,
Yeah. Because I think you have the surgery. You know, everyone knows your coaches, your friends, your teammates. You go and get it. Okay, it's done. You think, oh, like the hard part's over. Okay, you go through the first week. You go through the second week. Everyone's checking in on you. Everyone's like, oh, what can I do? Everyone's coming to see you. And then 2 weeks pass, and you're just, you know, people are moving on, and you're stuck there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm really, because I've never had it, so I'm really relating with you. But go ahead.
yeah.
I'm trying to hear you.
Yeah, it's and you're stuck there, and I think that's when it hits you how long this process is going to be, and no one's going to do it for you. It's going to be you. So like, you know, you guys, they come into us, we're there for them, we're talking them through it, we're educating them. We emphasize how important like their home exercise program is going to be, and I think it just catches up with you if you're not prepared for that. The change in identity, you know, the loss of something that was so crucial to your identity and your being, on top of like, I won't get back to this for months, and this is hard, and people are like, you see your team practice without you or play without you, and all of a sudden you're replaceable in a place that you thought you weren't.
Wow.
So I think it's that mental preparation for that and learning who you are outside of a sport. And that's so much easier said than done because that's who you are.
Right.
But if you don't know who you are outside of a sport and it gets taken away, you're just kind of free falling. And I think, and Alan might agree, that a lot of times we're the ones that are picking them up from that. Because we see it and we've been through it. And we're trying to explain that to them, but it's hard and it's hard to accept. So I feel like you just relate so hard to them, and you know, you want to point out all of the little wins for them, little things. I remember I was sitting in my living room, and the first time I lifted my leg off the floor, I called my mom into the room. I could lift it an inch, and I was like, "Mom, come here, come and look at this." I was so excited.
That's
and
awesome.
so being excited for the athletes in their little steps, I think goes a long way, and
Wow.
pointing that out to them.
Definitely.
Thanks for sharing that. That's good, Lexi.
Yeah. No, I think the mental side of rehab is definitely harder than the physical. I think it's a lot because we've even had athletes successfully rehab an injury, but it takes a lot out of them for that process. I mean, we had a recent individual, she went through her own rehab process, got to the point where she was cleared, fit for it. She walked on that field and she's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I have it anymore. Because it takes such a mental toll to get to that part. And it's a fight. You're fighting nonstop every single day, getting out of bed, doing your workout, making sure you eat enough, go to sleep, wake up again, do the same. But if you don't have that end goal and the rationalization of like what is next after it and have a smooth process through it, then it's hard. It hits you. It hits you right in that moment to know if you're going to be able to make it to that next step after.
Is there any specific steps or tools you recommend for someone to try to practice that may be going through that experience mentally? Like, is there anything you did that helped you cope or just deal with it?
I think you have to focus on, again, the little things. I think every little win is pushing you forward. So, the first time that you lift your leg off the ground, the first time that you get to walk off of crutches.
Take really appreciation of that stuff.
Yeah. Because if you don't, I think you get lost in the rehab process. You're like, oh, I won't run again for another 4 months. Okay, but you just increased your leg extension weight by 10 pounds. You couldn't do that last week. Okay, you just went single leg, stance rather than double leg for the first time. And I think sometimes we see that obviously more than them because they're living it every day. So those accomplishments aren't as big to them as they are to us. So I think as PTs, the biggest thing we can do is constantly point it out for them and acknowledge that. And I also think making sure that their feelings are valid. Because sometimes athletes are like, oh, I don't want to admit I'm scared, or I don't want to admit that, I don't know if I can do this, because they've been conditioned to not let other opponents see weakness or their coaches or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
How many athletes have hidden their injuries from their coaches as
Yeah.
well? Because I can't admit it. I'm going to hide it and keep it back.
Yeah. So we really have to build that relationship where they trust us to, one, tell us the truth, because if they don't tell us the truth, we can't help
That's
them.
the hardest part.
Yeah, yeah. If they don't tell us the truth, we just can't help. And then just being able to say, like, it's okay to be scared. It is scary. This is the first time you're jumping. It's the first time you're running. We understand that. Take your time, but let's get after it. Let's do it. Let's get you back to where you're going.
Yeah, I think that's important. Me, I had, I think it was my junior to senior year. It was in January. I had a surgery on my foot for my fifth metatarsal, and it was about 3 months. And then in March, I had hip surgery. So I always felt like it was more mental. I knew the timeline, it was long, but I always felt like the progress was slow, right? And that's when I felt like the little victories, how we touched on, were the most important part. And so I'm glad that you touched on that, because I feel like, a lot of athletes, they beat themselves up. That's what I did a lot. I'm like, it's spring ball. My guys are out there playing, and it's March. I'm about to have hip surgery, So it's the little things where, my foot was finally healed. I didn't have to, have a little scooter riding around campus, and then next day I had hip surgery, so then I couldn't walk again. So it's definitely the small victories, the little wins, the progress. I think that's very important for the athletes to know. So.
No, that's really big. That's good. No, appreciate that, guys. Thank you. So that was good. I'm caught up. You sharing your story. I'm trying to visualize, because I remember you was hurt.
Yeah.
And you was going through that stuff in that process.
It was the mental side, man. I'm telling you.
I'm trying to,
I'm glad
be
you touched on that. Yeah.
relatable to her, like visualizing her. So
Yeah, because I just feel like, sometimes we're so hard on ourselves as, former athletes. We just want to, reach our potential, especially guys who are, in college. They all have a dream to, play professional sports. So it's like you're just trying to rush, get back as fast as you can, but the progress is not moving as fast as it is. Everyone has a timeline, and I think the mental side is the most important. So.
no, it is. So that's why we have them on here, and we want to get the unfair advantage, right? So, Dr. Allen, Dr. Lexi, you're on the Unfair Advantage podcast. You guys have a lot of knowledge. You have a lot of wisdom. You have a lot of experience. Can you give our viewers, an unfair advantage tip that they could take home with them, from you guys?
Mm-hmm. Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say if you are hurt in any way, if you're dealing with anything, it's just started on, it's been going on for a while, I would seek physical therapy. A good physical therapist is going to meet you where you're at, no matter what your needs are. Whether you're 1 day post-op or you're like Alan and you're 6 months into an injury, a good physical therapist is going to meet you where you're at and get you where you're going. So I would say don't be scared. Go find someone. I would probably recommend someone with like a sports specialty or a sports background, if you're in athletics, just to make sure that they better understand you and what you're getting back to. But don't be scared. We're here to help.
I like that. Dr. Allen?
Yeah, I think it's the intention behind the little things and the simple things to do them better than everybody else. Because at the end of the day, it's your cumulative load. It's how much strain are you putting through your body, and you have to know what areas need the most with the least amount of time you realistically spend on it. So being aware of those tiny little building blocks that every single movement has, building up those well, and it'll carry you very far into the future.
Yeah, just touching on that, your unfair advantage, I appreciate that, but just going into it, you guys touched on, don't be scared, and the building blocks. I think for an athlete, I always feel like, I've been through so many different injuries, 2 hip surgeries, I broke my foot about 3 times. How important is the preventative measures, for athletes? Say, a knee injury, how do we go from there with that? Are you big on that, or are you guys only post injury?
I mean, one of the reasons I took this job coming from my last practice is I wanted to be closer to the athletes, right? The further away you are from helping those individuals with injuries, the further help you can be. So being earlier access, being closer to the home, being inside the gym where half these guys work out, if we see something, we're going to call you out on it. But like, that's not how we're going to continue things going forward. And a lot of preventative means different things to different people. I think it's identifying the areas and the most common movements you have. How much time do you spending under tension for those movements, and knowing what ways can we maximize the range throughout that, or to know how much load they should be taking for it. So it's preparing for that body for the repetitive stress in that area.
Right.
Yeah, I think right now physical therapy as a profession is more like post-injury based. I wish that we would move to a more preventative measure. And I think, at Re-Envision, we have offered like free injury prevention screens. We go over and do some work with the college as well, just to kind of get some data, get some numbers on them. We'll take like Tyndek measurements. So for overhead throwers, looking at like internal and external rotation strength, because research shows that if one is 75% or less than
balance.
75%, in comparison, like they are at increased risk for shoulder injuries. So making sure that we're getting some numbers on them and kind of addressing some things before they become a problem. So I would really like to see the profession move more to preventative. But one thing that I like to do with athletes is that if they're coming to me with an injury, we're going to get you healthy, and then I'm going to teach you how to stay healthy. And that's with mostly like home exercise programs. We write extensive ones. Whether they do it is up to them. But
That's real.
yeah, but we do really try to push that because that's ultimately our goal is get you healthy and keep you healthy.
Yeah, so you don't come back, right?
So hypothetically, I know that's down the road. Like, what would that look like, though? So you're saying if you guys want to go to the preventative measures, would you make like a screening automatic for all athletes in school? And what level would that be important? Is that middle school, high school, and college? Like, what does that look like?
I think it varies based on the age of the individual. I mean, a lot of these like elementary, middle school age kids, I mean, just seeing how they move, how they run, how they
Yeah.
can change direction, like even just the broader strokes of it goes a long way. And as you get higher up and more specialties, you have to find, the ratios of certain areas, the quad to hamstring, internal to external, how the body handles itself. And then having kind of just either baseline measurements to compare it to when injury happens, or to notice if there's large discrepancies. How do we limit those discrepancies between the values as much as possible? But yeah, I hope it's something that we can do just for any team or player to have like an understanding, a baseline, know their sport, know their movements, and what can we do to kind of help identify those risk factors before it happens.
Yeah, because as you know, we here at FAST, we do our performance assessment. We try to identify limitations in movement quality, any asymmetries, but I think that if it was across the board, universal, I think that would be really complimentary to our athletes, as well as they'll be more successful.
I think that's why, like having you guys here together, I think that's kind of how it moves forward. Having Re-Envision and FAST, any athlete that comes in here, they have eyes on them.
Yeah,
So if you
one-stop
guys
shop.
see something, you build them up, you prepare them. They can see something, and I feel like that's an unfair advantage in itself for the city, really.
Yeah,
So,
There you go. I like that.
come on, man, I gotta boost y'all up a little bit.
No, it's a good team. I mean, especially we see the players, maybe like day one, right? Day one post-op, we see them for like several months until they get back to it. But there's like something to be said about, the society or the social side of sport. If you're just training alone by yourself in a dark basement and you have like 40 teammates you have to play with, that's a big change.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the ones and the individuals that we've had at Re-Envision going to FAST after, they get that competition side back earlier too. They see other athletes, they know what they have to kind of move against. They're challenged in their own way because now it's unpredictable. We're changing the environments, adding a little chaos to it and getting
Yeah.
them to adapt in different ways.
I also think that your staff as a whole does a really good job.
Appreciate that.
And we do a lot of like collaborative work with them, especially if we do have like overlapping clients or patients. Just being able to like go up to someone right away and be like, hey, this is what we've been working on. This is what he had a problem with. Maybe instead of this, do this. Maybe instead of this, focus on this. And then vice versa. They kind of come to us and they're like, hey, will you check this out real quick? And it's like on site.
Yeah.
It's, you know, if we have a couple minutes, they're like, okay, let's check this out
Oh, I
immediately.
know, because I come all the time. I bring all my athletes to them right away.
Yeah, I think that's important in here, you know, just because it kind of feels like the college vibe, you know. When I get to college, the first thing that I did, I saw the athletic trainer, then the strength staff, and we got to it just to make sure our body was good. So I definitely feel like, with the crowds who are really working out in here, I feel like it's definitely that team, the camaraderie, that type of, you know, college athlete. So
Well, it's been an amazing partnership. I'm truly grateful. I look forward to where we continue to grow.
yeah.
I think our athletes, like you said, they're very fortunate to have access to both of us. So appreciate that.
Yeah, I did have a question going off of that, just because you guys chose to be physical therapists. What kind of kept you away from, you know, just doing athletic training for, you know, specific college or high school or even professional?
For me, I really like seeing people a little bit after injury. I can't watch a knee injury to save my life. I swear I can feel it in my own knee. So I feel like I just do better a little bit after. And I really enjoy and ATs do have a long-lasting relationship as well. But I like really being in control of that rehab process
Right.
through the entire section. So that's why I went more PT than AT.
Yeah, I feel like there's just so many more options you can go the PT route. I mean,
Right.
ATs are, you know, multifaceted. I mean, they've got every single tool in the toolbox when they're out there. But I do, like Lexi said too, like to spend a little bit more time during that rehab phase, really kind of build them up and really build those like longer time periods where we're really focusing on that one individual with minimal distractions. I think it's huge, and that's kind of why we only do one-on-one care. I mean, if somebody comes to us, we want to give them our full attention. And like, if you got a slot, like this is yours. Like, what do we need to focus on? What do we need to do? How do we actually build you up right, rather than just like passing the buck and hoping it like, you know, helps.
Yeah.
All right, so you both touched on time. Like, can you just dive deep into that? Like, what do you guys mean when you say just the time with them? Because I feel like I like how you touched on, you know, with my athletic trainer, he's dealing with, you know, 10 to 12 guys at a time. You know, he's here, and we're just getting just enough time just to do what we need to do with our plan. But if you guys could just touch on the time aspect of it, like.
Yeah, I think it's first the time to learn that athlete, right? What motivates you guys? What do you need to kind of get done to get to that next step? And then kind of learning the intricacies of the way you move. I mean, there's stuff that we miss every single day because you can't catch it all in a 40-minute period. Right. I mean, we might be analyzing somebody's shoulder and we have a great session on the shoulder, but then they come back and now they got mid-back pain. It's like, oh, that's like a whole other area. And it's like we might have completely missed that if we were only focusing on one part, kind of pigeonholed on a section, that we don't treat them as an individual rather than just a shoulder athlete.
Yeah, and I think building the therapeutic relationship with them. So being able to spend that quality time with them one-on-one. I know their mom's name, and I know that they don't like peanut M&Ms or whatever. You get to know them as a person, and I think that translates really well into the rehab process because they trust you and they know you and that they're in good hands. Yeah. So, they're more willing to be vulnerable and honest with you throughout the whole process.
Yeah, I think that's big right there. We talked about it last week, just trust, I think a lot of times with, the athletic, the ATs, you trust them, but it's like you have to report to our head coach. You have to let him know how we feel. So I want to big myself up, so I might not tell the whole truth sometimes, So I think that's important, the relationship, building the trust, and it's almost like a therapy session with you guys, just because it's one-on-one for hours. So I think that's important, that connection for sure.
It's got to be. It's been but let's switch gears a little bit because I want to get into this part. Social media. Physical therapy and social media. All right, so people love content. People love resources. What is your guys' perception and thought of what content's out there? Is it safe to practice the content that's out there that people are trying to perform what PTs are doing? Is that safe or is that a no-no? What y'all's thoughts?
I think it depends. It just that's like the standard PT answer.
Yeah.
I know, be honest.
Yeah. I've seen some really great content out there, and I've seen some really poor content. But to know if it's right for you, I think that you have to talk to a healthcare professional. I don't think that, anyone just watching is going to be like, oh, like that looks like it would work for me. And then they try it and then they get hurt or something. But I think that, having the expertise of someone one-on-one, a doctorate of physical therapy, who knows you and knows your body and movement patterns to help direct your rehab is more beneficial than just following a YouTube video or a TikTok video or whatever it is.
I'm assuming because that could be a slippery slope, going down there if you don't really understand the principles behind that content. So, Alan, you want to touch on?
No, absolutely. I think it depends entirely on the video because I see a lot of informational topics, right? And they're just telling you how much force does this produce, like what muscle is, kind of leading this exercise and just kind of talking and describing it. And then you see the other ones where you see some guy squatting 225 on a Bosu ball and it's like, I don't know, anybody in the right mind who would want to do that.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like Alvin Kamara, his PT.
Don't get into that, man.
You ever watch his content, like his trainer or therapist to the extent, they do a lot of balancing stuff. I'm assuming proprioception and just throw things at him. And, he's got to just giving him more chaotic environments.
Yeah, definitely. We see a lot of that, man. I do think, I feel like now with the short content and TikToks, I do feel like it's moving and where a lot of people are, I don't know the stat, but I do see it more often where people are listening to, the TikTok content, the YouTube, over coming to, a physical therapist or the doctor just because, the price and everything else, just insurance and things like that. But I do think it's important to, like you said, get into a professional, to get into it.
Defend that. What he just said, defend that right there.
Why someone should see a professional?
Yeah, and he was talking about, they can do it on their own and blah,
Yeah,
blah,
a lot of times, yeah. A lot of people see that. A lot of people watch the content, scroll, and like, yep, I'm going to do that instead of going to, or if they have shoulder injury, let me type in, how do I heal my shoulder,
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, first thing that comes to mind is that video does not know you. Doesn't know your
That's
name.
it, yep.
It doesn't know your diagnosis. It doesn't know when you had surgery. You could be watching a video that was supposed to be for 6 months post-op, and you're watching it 3 months. Yeah. And so now you're trying things that aren't safe for you yet. So that's why I think that you really need just an expert who knows you and your situation to help guide that a little bit more. Right. And I think that even if you get into them and you're like, okay, like I can only, work at one time a week. Okay, that's fine. Let's build a good home exercise program for you that can progress you safely and make the most impact for you. And again, some of those videos are really good.
Right,
Alan sends them to me all the time. We talk about it. We get ideas.
I know that. I get that. But I do, as me being a coach too, I want to bring my value and my ability to identify or give you the proper coaching cues that's appropriate for you. That's the investment, rather than just taking content. So I'm just, trying to.
You hate the content, man.
No.
Yeah.
Especially him.
I share a lot.
Sports performance coach. You see a lot of it, don't you? Just hating on it.
Some of it I like.
Yeah.
Same way as my content. They may like some of mine and not like some of mine. So it's just fair. So, but no, let's just move on. But now let's get fun.
Don't get them started with that.
Yeah. Let's get fun. Now it's the fun part. NFL picks. First of all, before we get into this, Lexi, who's your favorite NFL team?
I am a Baltimore fan.
There we
and
go.
it has been hard this year.
Trust me, I know.
It has been hard to watch.
That's
hard
tough.
to watch.
Alan?
Oh, Commanders all day.
Commanders.
Yeah.
So both local guys. They local.
Yeah, listen, last week I think the Commanders lost to Dallas, right? Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That goes back and forth.
I want to give the viewers our picks. We do them each week, and we keep track of them. Right now, Coach Frisbee is up 103. Got him correct. 113 wrong. I got 98 correct. 118 wrong.
So if you're gonna follow anybody picking picks, follow my picks.
All right, man.
So this is really quick, guys. We just have fun with this. We're gonna name the games it is. Pick what team you want. We'll go around, move on to the next one. Have some fun.
Okay.
All right, first one. Lexi, you can start. Thursday night, tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Vikings versus Chargers. Who you like?
Chargers.
Chargers.
Ooh. I'm going to go Vikings.
Vikings.
Vikings, yeah. I think I'm gonna go to Chargers. They
Yep.
just took a L this week. They're gonna be back.
I'm going to go Vikings.
Yeah, James.
We'll
Oh,
keep track of this too.
Yeah.
We'll keep track of this for
Vikings.
sure.
All right, Sunday's games. All right, first one we have is Dolphins versus the Falcons.
You want to start? That's your team, man.
Yeah,
He
you
likes
always
the
look at
Dolphins. He likes the Dolphins.
We won
man.
one game this year, but I had to stay with them. I'm going to go Dolphins.
I think that's what's hurting you right there. You keep picking them. That's hurting your stats. I'm gonna go the Falcons. I think they look good.
Yeah, because I'll probably be up a lot more. But anyway.
I'm
Thanks.
going Falcons.
Yeah, has to be Falcons.
Got to be right.
I'm the only one with that. That's okay. All right, Jets versus Bengals.
0-7 Jets. I'm going to Bengals.
Bengals.
Yeah, absolutely Bengals.
Yeah, because the Jets haven't won a game, so I'm sure that wasn't a hard pick. So we all took the Bengals. All right, we have Bears and Ravens.
Ravens all day, right? Ravens
Lamar's
all
back.
day.
I'm going Ravens.
Oh, he's back.
That's
It's over
true.
with.
He's on my fantasy team, so I got it.
There you go.
Go Ravens.
I'm going to go Ravens, too. I'm going Ravens.
There you go.
Bills versus Panthers.
I go Bills. Yeah, Panthers ain't. Bills are top team, so.
I'm going Bills.
I feel like we're all just going to pick the same
Yeah,
ones.
we're all picking the same teams and watch. We're gonna get them wrong.
You pick Bills?
Yeah, Bills.
I pick Bills also. All right, 49ers versus Texans.
This is gonna be a good game. I think this is gonna be a good game to watch. I think.
You know you say that like every episode. You say this is going to be a good game.
Did you watch the game?
They are good games, but you're losing, though. So I don't know what you think.
That's
of
not
a
what
good
I'm saying.
game.
I'm not saying I'm going to
You're saying it's
win.
gonna
I'm
be
just saying it's going to be a
competitive.
good game to
All right,
watch.
let's
I'm letting
go.
our viewers know, letting everybody out there, this is going to be a good game to watch. I'm going to take the 49ers.
There we go, bro.
Okay.
I feel like I just keep picking the same teams as him, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Texans.
There we
I'm gonna
go.
change it up a little bit.
I was already going to go Texans, so I'm not just switching.
Sure, sure.
No, Texans. I like the running game.
I'm going to go 49ers. Shut up, man. All right, we got a few more. Giants versus Eagles.
All right, well, rapid fire Eagles.
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 Eagles. Browns versus Patriots.
That's going to be a good one, too. I'm going to go to Browns.
I'm Browns. Pick Patriots.
I'm going to have to pick Patriots.
I'll pick Patriots,
I'll be
too.
underdog.
I'm picking Patriots, too. Buccaneers and Saints.
Bucks.
Saints.
Yeah, Bucks.
Bucks.
Uh-oh.
Titans versus Colts.
Colts best team in the league. I'm taking the Colts. Hey, man. Do you watch the games?
No, they're good.
Colts.
Colts as well.
Oh, you take.
Titans.
See, you try to be different.
Sunday. Every Sunday could be different. It could be anybody's Sunday.
All right.
Let's go Cowboys and Broncos.
I'm going to go Cowboys.
Broncos.
Cowboys.
Broncos. All right, we got two left. Packers versus Steelers.
Oh, that's a good game, too. I'm going the Packers, A-Rod's old team.
Packers.
Packers.
I'm going to go Steelers because it's A-Rod's old team. And then Monday night, Commanders versus Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Chiefs. I don't think J.D. Fowler is playing, so.
I'll go Commanders.
The Commanders for sure.
I got to go Chiefs.
Why you got to look like that, man?
Nah, I'm going to go Chiefs.
Okay.
Nah, Allen, Lexi. Man, thank you guys so much for being on tonight. Like I said, these guys are in with me every day here at Fast Guys. Like, they bring excellent physical therapy to the area. Like you said, they're former athletes. They're very relatable. They got great personalities. They're not intimidating. It's a really good environment and culture to come to, though. Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Definitely. I appreciate you guys coming on. If anybody out there dealing with injury, want to prevent an injury and just see how your body is, tap in with Re-Envision for sure. So
Absolutely. And even if you guys have like questions, you need anything, just hit us up. You know, we offer free movement screens to anybody. If you have any questions, just if it's the right fit for you, right? Because the best PT is the best one for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. This has been
Absolutely.
great.
Nah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Nah, dude, you guys don't even understand. Like our audience and viewers will definitely gonna get some feedback, some interaction, and engagement regarding this episode, because a lot of people relate to it, and a lot of our young athletes struggle with this, having understanding what physical therapy is, and you guys opened up and kind of shared your side of the story. Savon had a personal experience as well, so thank you guys for that. So all of our viewers, our guys, listen, follow us on all Unfair Advantage podcasts, subscribe, like. I'm telling you, we're going to bring raw conversations every week. We're trying to bring on special guests as many times as we can, other professionals in this industry. We appreciate y'all enjoying the content. So, you got anything?
Man, next time, man. Thank y'all.
Nah, appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon.
Say.
We out.